All right. Well, for the first question we have for today is regarding the Heiken Ashi bar types. So the question is, so he's looking for two positive Heiken Ashi bars. We get two bars in a row that are up bars. However, the second bar, he wants looking for the close of the second bar to be less than the open of the previous bar for Heiken Ashi. So I guess we'll have to, let me get a Heiken Ashi on here and we'll go find an example of this. So it's a little strange. Okay, so I'm going to use the Heiken Ashi, the Anna Heiken Ashi here, because I don't think Ninja has a Heiken Ashi. Oh, yes it does. Okay, so we're going to use, no, that's not a, let's see, that is not a Ninja Trader Heiken Ashi either, I don't think. So I'm going to go back to the Anna Heiken Ashi, because this should be easier for people to find. All right. So before we get started here, for anybody that does not have the Anna Heiken Ashi, actually that's the wrong one. It's fine. There we go. We just want that one. You can find all these Anna indicators on lizardtrader.com. Right. All the Anna indicators can be found on lizardtrader.com. So let's look this up here. Right, there we go, lizardtrader.com, and you can just go to their download section and browse in their free area, and you should be able to find that Anna Heiken Ashi indicator there. All right, so with that, okay, let's get the Heiken Ashi on here, and all right, so this looks like it's going to be tricky to find an up bar with the with the closing price lower than the previous bar's open. All right. Well, I probably need to change bar types to do this. All right. Well, I'm going to try another bar type. All right, I think I finally found a spot on the chart here. So, looks like this somewhat doji looking candle here meets the requirement here. So if I stretch this out, so we can zoom in here. There we can see the close of the bar. It is an up bar. They're both green up bars. And the close of the first bar is below the open of the next bar. So there we go. There's our requirement. So that's what we're looking for. All right. So now that we've found a spot on our chart that we can work with, let's get BloodHound open and get started. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a name here. We're going to name today's BloodHound file. So I'm just going to use last week's and just update the date. There we go, 15th. Alright, now we have our BloodHound system named. And I'm going to start working on the logic tab here. And let's create a new logic template, and we'll give this a name. So, all right. So this is a Heiken Ashi. Let's see. So we're looking for two up bars. First is lower than the second. All right, I guess that name will do. A little bit long, but that'll work. Okay, so so let's keep in mind we're working with Heiken Ashi bars here, but Heiken Ashi truly isn't a bar. It's actually an indicator, right? So if we look at our bars, which is our data series, right? The bars are actually 2-minute bars. And if we look at our indicators, we see that the Heiken Ashi is actually an indicator. So with that, we can't use the bar direction because the bar direction uses the true underlying bars, which is the minute bars, right? It uses the true bar data there. So we can't use that. So what we have to do is we have to use an indicator comparison. And we'll have to do a manual comparison of the close price to the open price to see if it's an up bar or a down bar. All right, so we're going to compare the Heiken Ashi close to the Heiken Ashi open to see if it's an up bar or down bar. So let's give this a name here. So on Heiken Ashi, we'll just call this Heiken Ashi bar direction. All right, we're using the comparison solver here. Okay. So, all right, so in input A, that'll be our closing price, the Heiken Ashi closing price. And input B, this will be the Heiken Ashi open price. So let's go in here and let's go find the Heiken Ashi indicator. All right, there it is. And let's see. One thing I did change is I changed the candle type in order to find one of these, in order to find this unique situation here. I switched over to the Sylvain candle type there. And all right, so it's important to get your Heiken Ashi settings to match what you have in the chart. And next, let's come down here and we can see, at least in this ANA Heiken Ashi indicator, right, all the price types are available to us. So again, we're gonna use the Heiken Ashi close price first, and then down in input B, we're going to use the Heiken Ashi open price. We're just going to repeat the process. All right, and again, make sure our options are set correctly, and then the Heiken Ashi open is selected for us. All right, so now next step is let's just kind of take a look at the chart, make sure everything lines up, and yep, so BloodHound's outputting short when the bars are down bars or red, and BloodHound's outputting green when the bars are up bars. Right, so everything should match up there. So green bars, we should get green racing stripes with BloodHound. Red bars, red racing stripes with BloodHound. Everything looks like it matches up perfect. Okay, so we've got our comparison solver that's calculating our bar direction for the Heiken Ashi. Now we're looking for, we need 2 bars in a row that are both up bars. So the way we can do this is we can use a look back node to do that. So let's connect that look back in, connect that in. And then we're going to have to change the settings here. So we don't want a displacement. Excuse me. So we'll set our displacement to 0. And we want our look back period to be 2. So we're looking back, so we're looking at the most recent 2 bars. And then you'll see the mode becomes available. And the mode, we're actually going to, so we want a minimum of 2 bars. So we're going to use the minimum there. Right, so we want a minimum of 2 bars in the same direction. So now you can see once we get 2 bars in the same direction, we get our racing stripes. And if we get this little flip-flopping area, we can see that we're getting right, no signal that a bloodhound. So there. So that's making sure that we're getting 2 bars in a row in the same direction. Okay, so now we can start focusing on looking to see if the open of the current bar. So actually, let's stretch my chart out here to make this a little more visible. So we want to make sure that the open of the current bar is higher than the close of the previous bar. So again, we're going to need a comparison solver to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little shortcut here. Show you guys how to take a little shortcut. So I'm going to take the solver I already created and I'm going to make a copy of it. So there's our copy. And let's see here. So I'm going to need to change the name here. So we want to make sure that the Heiken Ashi open is above for a long or below for a short of the Heiken Ashi close. So actually let's do this. So we want the Heiken Ashi open of the current bar, so we'll use 0 for the current bar. And a 1 would be the previous bar back. So the Heiken Ashi of the current bar, which would be 0, and we're comparing it to the Heiken Ashi close price of 1 bar back. All right. And let's see. So next we need to go in here and change some plots here. So input A is going to be our Heiken Ashi open, and input B needs to be our Heiken Ashi close. All right, so let's go switch those around here. So input A needs to be the Heiken Ashi open because we're comparing the open. If we look at our chart, we're comparing the open of the current bar to the close of the previous bar back. So Heiken Ashi open, we got that selected now. That's good. And then indicator B, that's going to be our Heiken Ashi close. So the close price of 1 bar back. There we go. And now we're going to use for input B, so the close, so remember the input B is looking at the close price. Right? It's looking at the close, Heiken Ashi close. And that needs to be 1 bar back. So we're going to set the displacement to 1. All right, so we can see here the Heiken Ashi open has a 0 because our displacement is 0, so that's the current bar. And then the Heiken Ashi close has a 1 because it has a displacement of 1, which means looking 1 bar back. So, all right, so we should have this set up here, and let's put that new solver on the logic board here. So there it is under existing nodes. Let's put that down here and let's connect it to the result node and let's take a look. And yeah, we'll find that all right, on down bars we're going to get a lot of long outputs here because when we look at this, right, the open price on a down bar is usually higher than the closing price of the previous bar. Right, so we're going to get this a lot on down bars, and same thing for up bars. Let's see if I can find another good example. Let's see. Well, yeah. So here, right, that's or the close. Let's see. Sorry, wrong direction. Got to reverse my logic here. Yeah, so the close of the up bar is definitely higher than the open there. All right. So things are looking correct. And the one way I kind of know that that the solver's set up correctly is, remember I had identified this bar, right, and this bar. These two bars met that condition here, the ones I circled. Let's kind of narrow this up a little bit like that, right? And we're getting a long output on this bar, as to be expected there. So, all right, so one last step is we need to join both of these conditions together here with an AND node. Plug in that one, and there we go. All right, so there's our condition found, and there we go. So it looks like we're able to find a couple of other conditions. So they're definitely kind of hard to see unless you really scale things up a lot. Yeah, but there we go. We can see, yep, the open is higher than the previous close, and the open is higher than the previous close right there. Yep, a couple of bars like that. Yep, and we're getting the opposite for the down bars. So, all right, there's a few more bars. So I guess this happens a little more often than not, but it is most of the time it is pretty hard to find. Their prices are really close to each other. So, yeah. Okay, so I think that addresses that question there. So just to kind of summarize, so we've got up top here, we've got two nodes here that are detecting the bar direction, and this one is looking for two bars in the same direction. There we go. So right, so this is looking for, yeah, so again, this is looking for the bar direction, and we're making sure we're getting two bars in the same direction. And then this is looking for the actual condition, of the open being higher, the open being higher than the previous bar's close. Wait, let me hold on a sec. Let me double check the question here. Actually, no, yeah, I got the logic backwards here. No, actually, no, that is correct. Sorry. So I just gotta get the bars in the right direction, or in the right order. So we're looking for the close of the previous bar back to be less than the open of the next bar forward. There we go. Just gotta say it correctly. All right. Yep. So, yeah. Let's see. There we go. So, no, actually, I did get these backwards. Sorry. This is such an odd, uncommon condition here. So let me rearrange this solver here. Okay, so the close actually needs to be below for a long or above for a short. The close of the current bar needs to be below the open of the previous bar. Let's see. Yeah, the close is less than the open of the previous bar. Okay, so let me change the price types here. So I'm going to put this back to the closing price. So now input A actually should be the closing price, and input B should be the open. So again, we want the close of the current bar to be below the open of the previous bar back. So let's reverse these prices here. And also, the last step here is I need to reverse the outputs as well. Right, so let's stretch this out here. So we want the close of the current bar to be below or less than the open of the previous bar back. Right, so remember, input A is our closing price, input B is our open price. So we actually want A to be less than B. So we're going to use this. We want A to be less than B on long bars, so for the long output. And then almost always your short outputs are the opposite of your long outputs. So we're going to reverse the short outputs as well. Okay, so there. And I'm just going to take a look at that solver and see if that happens. So essentially what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a long BloodHound output, or I'm looking for these green racing stripes when we get up bars. When we get up bars, but not down bars. Yeah, it just doesn't look like it ever happens. Let's see, I'll put some more days on the chart. And it looks like I'm missing some data here. Actually, no, that's probably just, yeah, let me just reload some data. Yeah, it's just not looking like this condition ever happens. All right, I'm gonna just take a look at the final result here. So connect the result up to the AND node. And I can scan through the chart faster this way. Oh, there we go. Looks like we actually might have one here. Yes, we do. All right, let's have to scale this way up. Really scale that up. There we go. Now we can see the gap. Okay. So these are down bars, and essentially this is what we're looking for. Let's see. So we have to reverse the logic here. So yeah. So for a down bar, we want the close to be higher than the previous bar's open, right? So we're looking for that little gap there, right? So these are down bars, but you see how these bars look a little off, right? The first bar is actually lower than the next bar. So there, we do actually get that happening once. At least we found it once. Okay, good. So that was a good confirmation that the BloodHound logic is working. And let's see if I could find this for some up bars. Okay, looks like we might have one. There. It's kind of hard to tell, but essentially, right, we can see the previous bar is actually higher than the next bar, and that's kind of what this condition is looking for. So the close is just barely lower than the open of the previous bar. So even though this is an up bar, but still its closing price is underneath the previous bar's open price. It's underneath it. So, okay. So very rare condition, but at least we found a couple to do some spot checking. And there's another unique situation again. So 2 down bars. Yep. And the bar after is higher than the previous bar, even though they're both down bars. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any more. These look to be very rare conditions. Yeah, I guess that concludes this workshop. If you do come up with any questions you'd like to see in these workshops, again, you're always welcome to email those in ahead of time if you like. That'll get you in line first. Otherwise, all right, hope to see you next week. All right, bye-bye.